This is your Weather Extreme video for Saturday, June the 7th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. There's a look at the Skycam from Inverness, and thanks to the rain that we had yesterday afternoon and evening, we've got some fog in the area. We can see that pretty clearly. It'll go into a cloud deck. We can see that Haleyville, it looks like when I snapped this shot from the Skycam network, that it had gone into a bit of a cloud deck as well. The surface pattern has generally high pressure over the eastern half of the country, but we have some sort of a boundary lying across the southeastern U.S., and we saw showers and thunderstorms yesterday move along that boundary, moving out of the northwest to the southeast. We're generally under an upper ridge, but that upper ridge is a little bit further displaced to the south, and the main activity is off to our northwest in the central U.S., where we have a fairly sharp shortwave trough that is moving through the area that is going to be responsible for a good deal of showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures across the area have not changed much in basically about the last 12 hours. The temperatures dropped with the showers and thunderstorms down to around the lower 70s primarily, and we didn't change much overnight, with temperatures still generally around 70 and very humid with near 100% humidities. Radar fairly free of activity across the southeastern U.S. this morning, although we are seeing just a few showers in the south central part of Alabama, but we can see off to the northwest a large cluster of showers and thunderstorms, and that is responsible for, and the shortwave trough that we were just mentioning is responsible for some flash flood watches, those green areas that you see in the central U.S., parts of Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, West Tennessee, and northern Mississippi. QPF-wise, you can see why there are flash flood watches for those areas. QPF over the next 5 days expected to be on the order of anywhere from as much as 4 to 6 inches of rain in that area. And some possibility that we'll see severe weather once again today. I think the threat is primarily to our northwest, but any showers or thunderstorms that do develop, I think they have the potential for producing damaging wind and or possibly marginally severe hail, that is hail close to 1 inch in diameter, maybe even just a little bit larger. But you can see the slight risk area basically along and ahead of that short wave trough. We go out to day 2, and the area very similar because of a second short wave trough. And then when we get out to day 3, the SPC reserving or not mentioning a slight risk specifically, but mentioning C-Tex for the possibility of some isolated severe storms. The National Hurricane Center is watching an area in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, the Bay of Campeche. A Hurricane Hunter aircraft yesterday found a wind very close to, at the surface, 35, close to tropical storm force. However, the area is so close to land that it looks like, and with its westward drift, that it is not likely to develop into anything. Can't rule that out completely, but probably not going to develop into a storm. All right, let's take a look at modeling, and certainly is a challenging forecast with the atmosphere having been worked over yesterday. Question is, how much will it recover today? And, of course, we'll have to wait for the balloon run that is underway right now to really get a good picture on that. But here's the GFS forecast, and it is suggesting that we'll see some showers once again. The main threat is off to the northwest, and that threat to the northwest is associated with that shortwave trough that's moving through Missouri and forecast to move through Missouri. That shortwave trough moves up into the eastern Great Lakes fairly quickly, but a second one comes along trailing right behind it, and there's a third one in the Rockies. This is Sunday, and we can see that we continue in a band of showers across the southeastern U.S., and I think perhaps that the showers will be a little bit more numerous tomorrow than we see today. A couple of reasons for that is that precipitable water is down just a little, not much, but down just a little. Here's the high-resolution NAM, and it's focusing primarily for this afternoon around 1 o'clock on showers and thunderstorms developing in northern Arkansas. You see nothing developing here. We get out to about 6Z, which is 1 a.m. Sunday morning, and you can see that we do see a few showers developing, but that pretty much along the southern extent of the outflow boundary from that short wave trough. When we get out to Sunday morning around 12Z, this is 7 a.m., you can see that we have showers. So we may see some showers developing more Sunday morning if the high-res NAM is right. And Monday, we see a sort of another pattern with showers coming in early in the morning. So it may not be just a strictly afternoon heating kind of situation, but we'll have to be watching for additional development. All right, going back to the GFS and looking at Monday's upper air pattern, we see that third trough coming through the flow, and that one is closing off, actually becoming a closed low over Kansas, but certainly a very strong shortwave trough and pretty far to the south. And we can see that much of the forecast storm activity is in that area, but we also see this rather moisture-rich atmosphere over the southeastern U.S. Being an area where showers will continue to occur. That closed low moves over into southwestern Missouri on Tuesday, and once again we see the primary threat with the surface low over Missouri to be still to our northwest, but we're still have some risk. And interesting enough, noting the Europeans very similar to the GFS, maybe just a hair more bullish on the precipitation, but certainly the pattern very similar. Wednesday, that closed low begins to move out across Illinois, heading for the southern Lake Michigan, and we can see the main rain pattern. And at this point, the GFS is much less bullish on precipitation down this way, and I'm wondering if the GFS may be under forecasting that. By the time we get out to Thursday, we see that the closed low that was approaching Chicago has now become an open trough, an open wave, and certainly still somewhat unsettled, so going to keep showers in the forecast right through much of the week ahead, it seems like. And this is where, once again, the model is showing some inconsistency. The GFS not as bullish as the European is on the amount of rain and the amount of coverage. So forecast confidence getting less out into time. By the time we reach Friday, we see that we still have pretty good upper ridge over Mexico and a kind of a weakness over the southeastern U.S. in the vicinity of Tennessee and northeastern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri. And, of course, that just keeps things rather somewhat unsettled. We'll draw your attention to the GFS drawing some activity south of Cuba. Looks like a little tropical mischief. Certainly not going to stick my neck out and name that just yet. By the time we reach a week from today, the ridge is moving in, but moving in slowly, and we keep this weakness over us. So the result is that we're just likely to see showers and thunderstorms, primarily diurnally driven, that is by the heat of the afternoon. And the GFS is suggesting something rather interesting over Cuba and South Florida and into the Bahamas. But again, that's moving out into voodoo country, and we're not going to go there just yet. Interesting going out into voodoo country that the GFS is painting a pretty substantial change to the overall forecast. It's painting a bit of a trough, a fairly substantial trough over the eastern half of the country. This is around the 17th of June, and if this pattern should verify, then this would be a much cooler pattern. It also would signal a northwesterly flow pattern, and northwesterly flow patterns in June can often be accompanied by large convective complexes of thunderstorms that originate up in Iowa and Nebraska and yet move through the flow and actually end up moving through the southeastern U.S. So we'll certainly watch that, but that's real speculation this far out. Thanks for tuning in to the Weather Xtreme video. Expect to have the next one posted by 8 a.m. or so on Sunday morning. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day, and Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
In back-to-back ratings periods,
more people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.